Good morning! Teal House Farm. Yeah.
Yes, welcome back to Teal House Farm. I am just getting ready to go out and just do an afternoon check of everything out on the farm. The girls, they made some cloud dough today and they're let it dry and now they're painting it. Here, I'll show you. It's cornstarch and hair conditioner and then it dries hard, which but it's a really cool texture and they can use it like Play-Doh and it's less messy and faster than making Play-Doh. It was really fun.
I would paint my rock pink.
Yeah.
Not even pink.
Yeah, so we let it dry, but it's a little crumbly when it's dry, so we sprayed it with a layer of hairspray and then painted it. And so they're making all their things.
2 cups of cornstarch and then 1 cup of conditioner.
Yep, that's right. So they're working on that. Mr. P is hanging out in his pack and play. He loves to look outside the window. He can see the geese, and he just stands there and looks out the window now when I put him in the pack and play. Hi, Mr. P!
I'm gonna play the missing.
But anyway, I was gonna head outside real quick and just check on all the animals because it's a super hot day and we just want to make sure everyone's still got water and such. And I thought I'd take you all with me because I feel like when I vlog like the day in the lives, you get a snippet of this animal or that and what's going on, and you never actually get to see how everything is going. And so we'll kind of give you an update. So we have our barnyard mixed enclosure here using the Premier One fence. See if I can back up. These geese are so loud. This Premier One fence, the only thing we have decided that we like Premier One fencing for is for poultry that has its wings clipped. Everybody loves it. It's been kind of a disappointment to us, to be honest. And it's not necessarily because it's not a good product, but it's not the right product for our land. And that's probably the biggest lesson we've learned as homesteaders, is to understand your land and make sure when you're watching videos and recommendations that the people that you're taking recommendations from have similar circumstances to you. Because this fence works great if you do not have rocky soil or if you are on very flat land, and both of those things are not true for us. So there's my soapbox for today. It's not a bad product, it's a wrong product for our land. But it works okay for chickens and geese and ducks as long as they are either have their wings clipped or they're a non-flying breed. So that'll keep them in and it'll keep out predators, because it is hot if you can get it on a flat spot that's not real rocky, which is this one little corner of our property. So the geese are getting huge and I love these geese. I feel like, let's see if I can get them to turn around. I feel like they always look like they're wearing a little pair of pantaloons in the front because their feathered part goes down to their knees. So it's like they're wearing little knickerbockers. And it's super cute to watch them walk, which they're not gonna do right now. And inside here, we have our odd varieties of laying chicks, which are still pretty little, so they're still locked in the enclosure. They look like they knocked all their food over, though. We'll get them some more. But once they're ready, we'll open the door to here, and then they'll be able to wander around with our geese. And since they've been in here in the enclosure with the geese are already familiar with them, and we shouldn't have any problems with them being too aggressive, because it's not like you're just throwing a new bird in. And our ducks are going to be joining them in here too. We just have 3 ducks, just that kind of waddle around, but they create kind of havoc. Ducks are diggers with their beaks, and they create little potholes everywhere. So we're going to put them in here with the geese, and then we'll have this really neat barnyard mix kind of running around right in the front of our property, and it's keeping a large area of grass mowed down for us that we don't have to mow ourselves. Because if you've been around here, you know this is our year of no mowing. Well, not no mowing, but less mowing, because there's only so much time, and who wants to waste that time pushing a lawnmower around? Okay, crossing over the one area of the property that we do need to mow, which is this nice little area the kids can run around and play on. We go out to the pasture here, and we have sheep and goats. So we decided to try sheep this year. It's a new thing for us. So far, I'm loving them. They're really easy. I know people say sheep are kind of dumb. I don't mean that in a mean way, but not all animals are created equal in the smarts department, and I would definitely say that that's true compared to the goats, but in some ways that's nice because the goats are really clever and hard to keep in, and the sheep, knock on wood, have not gotten out ever. I mean, they see that fence, they turn around and they stay away from it, so that's been nice. Working right now on trying to find a butcher. I think I have one lined up. Just got to get the date scheduled with him. Called around a little bit. Just wanted to make sure we got somebody local, somebody that came with really good references. So I think we found somebody good. And the idea is to keep the sheep until December. They'll get butchered. And as long as everything continues to go well, our plan is to maybe next year invest in a really good breeding pair and then start kind of a little mini sheep operation. Why sheep? Well, sheep are great because they keep your grass, your pasture, keep it mowed down, and then they take about 9 months to grow out, within that range of 9 months. And so you basically feed them on your pasture, spring, winter, fall, give them a little bit of hay in the late fall, winter, and then, you know, they get butchered. So you're not having, it's not an animal that you have to feed year round. Like a cow takes so long to feed out that you're having to provide feed for it in the winter if you're living where we live, and you know, it gets frozen in the winter, and so it ends up being a much larger cost investment, where the sheep really don't need much. They get a little extra stuff, but 95% of their diet is right off our land, which is great. I built a new paddock right here. You probably watched the video. I dragged that huge thing halfway across the farm. Oh, I hear sheep. And then I built a new paddock around it. It was kind of a pain. Had to get through all this really reedy, weedy stuff, which killed the trimmer line. I do it all by hand with some like hedge trimmers, but we got it in. It's nice and hot now. I learned a lot about putting up an electric fence. I did so much wrong. You don't think it would be hard, and you look at it and it looked right. Just standing there looking at it, looked fenced in and cleared around the fence, and plugged it in to the main fence, and then the charger reading dropped to 0 as soon as I hooked it up, and I was like, ugh. I had done so much wrong. I had insulators backwards. I had wire that was wrapped too many times around an insulator. Like anything I could do to choke off the flow of electricity, I managed to do it. So I learned a lot, but it was really frustrating because it's already really hard doing big projects like building a paddock when you have a lot of little kids, because you have to stop every 5 minutes, and then it's a million degrees. But then I had to like go and do a lot of it again. But I learned, so next time I'm ready. So now we have 3/4 of our pasture fenced in, which is amazing because last year we had like 0% of it fenced in for the animals, and it was just a huge mess. And we looked like terrible neighbors. We don't have the equipment to mow it down. And now this area too here is getting ready to be grazed. I won't say that our pasture will ever be completely mowed this year by the animals, but a large percentage of it will be. And so we are moving in the right direction. Here they are. So there's a goat, a sheep, and a goat. And we have 2 more goats. Oh, you're so loud. And they are doing such a great job. So this pasture, you can see how short it is. This is where they've been. And we're gonna move them through here, which you just saw, which is really overgrown, and they'll mow that down. That gives us a total of 3 pasture sections to rotate them through. So I feel like we're actually moving somewhere, and we're really starting to fulfill our want of rotational grazing this year, something that we've talked about wanting to do a lot, and we struggled to figure out how to do it practically because we first tried to do it with Premier 1 fence, which worked great in theory, did not work great in practical, practical life. We tried it with movable coops. Again, worked great in theory, works great for some people, did not work well for us. You try hauling a movable coop up a really steep pasture, it was a nightmare. This has been working great with the preset electric line paddocks, and we have gate systems with the electric line. There's a gate, I don't know if you can really see those yellow insulator like things. That's actually a gate, and it's just one line at a time, and you hook them over when you need to close it off. And it's been working really well, so yes. Okay, and then our other chickens. So we have some just barnyard chickens down here. I'm gonna see if they'll let me get close enough. They've been sitting and hatching eggs for us, which is a first We have tried so many things to get hens to set and hatch, and it never worked. And this year we decided we would just give up on that and hatch our own eggs. And then wouldn't you know, they sat on it and they hatched them. So I'm gonna see if we can show you a baby chick without making them too upset. Can you see them through there? And we have one poor duck here who is determined to hatch some eggs, and there's not a drake. And we have tried breaking her brood. I tried sneaking some chicken eggs under her, and she was not having it. So we have a drake that we were getting from a friend who is coming Sunday, so in a couple days, and that should get us some fertile eggs, duck eggs, and then maybe she'll actually hatch something. I did have somebody suggest putting an infrared light on and coming out at night and trying to sneak eggs under her, because maybe she won't notice as much. So we might try that too, but she's been sitting for longer than she needs to be, and she's not gonna hatch anything right now. And that's just kind of a miserable way to live your life. So we're working on that. But she's also very protective, and it's making it really hard for us to go in and collect eggs to eat, because she's sitting there right by the door and she does not want you coming in there. It hisses like a snake. This is our dairy goat, Uhura. She is just now dried off. That's what's going on the animal front. Let me show you the garden front. Over here. We'll walk through all of this laundry. Say this laundry is kind of stressful, but I will say this is one of the most beautiful sights, the happiest sights. Lots of diapers on the line means healthy, happy babies. So as much as I get sick of doing laundry, it's always nice to see it all lined out. First, I'm going to show you something that failed, and you can cringe a little bit because it looks like a hot mess. I tried to make a cottage garden here with a path. I got a couple pretty flowers out of it. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty. Some sunflowers. And then for some reason, none of the other flower seed I laid sprouted, and it's just a bunch of a hot mess weeds, and I'm just not doing anything about it because it's not important. Pretty is nice, but pretty is not essential, and this would be a very big project to undo. So we're just letting it go, and then next year we'll try it a different way. I think what happened is I spread out all the seed. I should have covered it maybe loosely with some straw. I think birds just came in and had at all that free wildflower seed I spread out, and that's why it just ended up not germinating and getting a lot of weeds in there. The row garden is looking really good. Our green beans are nice and healthy. This is this humongous spaghetti squash plant, and we've got several peppers back there. Looks like they're about ready to be picked actually, and the cucumbers and tomatoes. More squash, and there's a watermelon back there too. Everything's looking really nice and healthy. The straw really helps lock in the moisture. We've actually been in a drought. Today is the first time it's rained in quite a while, and I still have only had to water twice, even though it's the first time it's rained in like almost a month, I feel like. So yeah, so I still till. This is not permaculture. I tilled it, I planted, and then I put down straw, especially around the base of the plants. Helps keeps weeds down and locks in the moisture, and everything is just looking so happy and healthy. Feeling really good about this gardening year. Usually by the time you get to July, I'm feeling kind of stressed and my garden is overtaken by weeds, but it's actually looking pretty good. This is an accidental butternut squash plant that we're just letting go, and we have some potatoes growing in these tires.
Yeah.
The mulberry tree bush is pretty much done for the year. You get a couple. And the blackberries are coming in, but they are not ready yet. See those back there? They're still pretty darn tiny. Got another 3 or 4 weeks on those. And our apple trees are looking so good this year. I'm really excited. The last 2 years we really have hardly gotten any apples because of late frosts, and this year our trees are just loaded with little apples. So
can I show them something?
And I'm too lazy to walk all the way around this fence, but down along this fence line we have elderberry plants that are also looking excellent, but that's a fall harvest. It's gonna be a long time on that. And that's about it. Greenhouse is behind me there. That's done. I'll replant it in August, just too hot. And that space, which was the second greenhouse and just has a bunch of shavings down now, I'm actually going to try planting some fall vegetables in August in that and do like a little fall garden, and we'll just see what happens. Just want to test a theory, but we'll keep you posted on that. So overall, things are going really well. There's a lot going on, and it's kind of a mess outside because it's just so hard to keep up on everything with Sam in school, but the important things are done. The animals are happy and safe. The garden is healthy, ouch, and growing, and the kids are having lots of fun this summer, right, Ivy? Even though it's a million degrees.
No, it's like 98.
Yeah. So, but the lawn needs mowed and things need picked up. So, alrighty. I think that's all we got for you today. We will see you all again really soon. Bye.
We're making a puzzle.
Let's say bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.